Good morning. As I mentioned in my weekly mail out, and if you're curious about that, feel free to sign up for that below here. But as I mentioned in my weekly mail out, I have consistently run into problems when I listen to people talk about their goals and their motivations and their desires and their plans. People get really mixed up between these things. So what I want to do is explain them really quickly, what they are, why they're important, and how to start implementing them into your life. When we have clear motivations and clear or why, when we have clear goals and we have clear plans, everything falls into place and we understand the purpose of them. So really quickly, what is the deal with this why thing? People talk about why all the time. The reason we talk about our why, or the motivation, is that if we don't have strong motivations, especially in real estate investing or businesses, when we're building something, businesses are hard to build. They're not easy to build. Real estate portfolios, large real estate portfolios are hard to build. They're not easy to build. So we need to overcome hurdles in the way. And if we don't have a really strong why, if we don't really understand what's motivating us, we're going to get stuck on those hurdles and we're going to give up. And I'm sure that you know a lot of people around you consistently that give up when things get hard. If we give up when things get hard, we don't reach our goals. So we need to have a strong why. We need to understand our motivations. Now, I get into this in depth in other videos and other discussions with people, sometimes weekend events. But for now, let me just describe that your motivation needs to be emotional. You need to connect with what motivates you emotionally. If you don't get emotional about this, it's not going to really be solid for you. It's not going to be long lasting. All of us can get riled up at a weekend event. All of us can get riled up with one motivational speech. That doesn't help us long term usually. We need things that are going to help us long term. Next, and we always need to start with that, because if we don't have a strong why, if we don't have a strong motivation for what we're doing, we will give up. Secondly, we need to understand goals. Now, why or motivations are emotional. They're kind of vague in some ways. Like this hits me in certain ways, and we need to understand them. But often they're not very concrete. Whereas goals are very concrete. They're very specific. We need to be incredibly specific with goals. The most successful people I know, they know what they want and they know when they want it and exactly what it is. Okay. When I think about goals, I think about we need to know where we are. So that's more like our motivation, and where we are going. That's more like our goals. And we need to know how long it's going to take to get there. Because if we don't know where we are and where we're going, and we don't know how long it's going to take to get there, the time frame we have, we don't know what vehicle we can use. If I want to head to, I don't know, Cuba, and I'm in Western Canada, and I have months to get there, well, now there are many ways to get there. But if I am in Calgary, Alberta, and I don't know where I'm going, does it matter which direction I go? No, because I don't know where I'm going. If I want to go to Cuba, but I don't know where I'm starting from, which direction do I move in? Again, it's very confusing. We need to know where we are, where we're going, and we need to know how long it's going to take. When are we hoping to reach there? And that can set our vehicles. I could walk to Cuba, well, not walk the entire way, walk most of the way if I have a long enough time frame. But if I need to be there today, there's only one method. As far as humanity goes and technology goes right now, there's only one method. So knowing those things help us. So how does this apply to business? How does this apply to real estate? Well, there are a million and one real estate strategies. There are many ways to build a real estate portfolio. There are many ways to build a business. If we know where we are and where we're going and what skills we need, now we can start to build a plan. Now, sticking with goals. Goals are very specific. Understand where you want to go or how long, understand specifically what you want. Understand specifically when you want it. And I'm talking about not, I want it by the time I'm old. That's not specific. I'm talking, know that you want it by when you're 53 years old. Know that you want it by October the 10th, 2028 at 4:35 p.m. When you know that and you can visualize it, it's helpful for our brains. We need very specific things for our brains to really understand and take hold of. Okay, so that's talking about goals a little bit. There's so much more that we could talk about with goals. The purpose of goals, I've heard often, is to grow. But we cannot grow, even with our goals, without specific plans. So if we've talked about motivation and your why. We've talked about goals. Now let's talk about plans. Your plans are often short-term. So goals are longer-term. I would say a year or longer, that's a goal. Plans are short-term. Plans are how are you going to reach that destination? How are you going to get there? What vehicle are you going to use? For me, the specific purpose of plans, and this is very important that you understand this, is to measure how you're doing compared to your goals. Now, if we have specific goals, we can see, are we getting closer or not? Okay? If I say, well, when I'm old, I want to be rich. Well, that's not specific enough. How do I know if this week I did something to help myself there? We don't. If I know that I want a certain net worth, or I want to build a business to a certain amount of revenue every year, if that's a goal, well, now I can measure how I'm doing with my plan. Plans are for measuring. Plans change all the time. They get tweaked. Plans are a way to measure ourselves and what we're doing. If I work for 3 or 4 or 5 months towards a certain goal, and I go, oh, hold on, I'm nowhere near this. What is missing? Now I can tweak it. This is why the specific goals are so important. Now I can tweak my plan. I can change things around and try something different. If, however, I'm moving faster than I thought I would move towards my goals, now I can tweak things again and maybe set a bigger goal. These are moving parts. The goals and the plans, they're moving parts in many different ways. Our motivation or our why does not change very often. Okay, it changes very slowly over time. Our goals, again, are fairly intentional, so they are longer term. Plans can change. Yes, work with a plan. Don't give up immediately. That's why we have our why. That's why we have our motivation. But our plans, you can tweak them. You can change them if you are reaching something too fast or too slow, or you're completely way off track. It helps kind of looking. Think about it like a Google map. If you're on a GPS or you're on a Google map and you know where you're going and you see you're way off in the wrong direction, well, now you can tweak things. You can say, okay, this isn't getting me where I want to go. What can I tweak to get there? Where do I turn? Left, right? What skills can I learn? What skills do I need to learn? If I'm failing, if I'm doing really well in certain areas but terrible in others, what can I learn? What can I grow in? Who can I hire? What can I do to make sure that I'm coming back on track? Our goals are like a compass direction. Our motivation, our why, helps us keep working towards it on a consistent basis. And our plans see where we're off track, if that makes any sense. So our compass direction is our goal, and our plans are showing us, are we off track? How close are we sticking to this compass setting? And that's, I was going to say that's it. There's so much involved in this, right? I'm giving you a little kernel here, a little bit of help here. It is helpful to understand this. What I want to do, and this is the challenge for this week, I want you to look at yourself and ask yourself, are you motivated? Are you truly motivated? Do you get emotional when you think about what you want and why you want it? And if you're not emotional, if you give up easily when things get a little bit hard or when you get confused, well, what I'd suggest is go to your why. If you don't even know where you want to go and you don't have anything written down, I'd work on your goals. Make that the task. If you have goals, but you often get lost and you take actions, but often they're not actions that you need to take, what I would probably do is go back to goals, make them more specific, and then realize that plans are for tweaking, plans are for changing, and set short-term plans. I'm going to try this. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to grow in this area. And then measure it again. If we're constantly measuring, we're constantly growing, we will see where we're off track and where we're on track. And that helps in so many ways. So again, the challenge for this week is to look at yourself and evaluate, where am I going wrong here? Where can I tweak things to get better? Is it working on my why and my motivations? Is it working on my goals, or is it working on my plans? When I set my plans, I have plans for the next year. I have plans for the next quarter. I have plans for the next month. I have plans for this week, and I have plans for today. What that does is it keeps me on track. If I'm motivated, I stick on track and I know exactly what I need to do. And I don't get confused or off track very often. I hope this was helpful. I know it's been helpful for a lot of my clients. Enjoy your week. Have a phenomenal week. And reach out if you need anything. Again, below in the video here, feel free to sign up for my weekly mail out if that's helpful for you. But I want to leave you with a little bit of encouragement. You've got this.